And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Score with SZA and Six Lack, and just
Six.
I was I wasn't quite sure how to pronounce that.
It's supposed to be black, but people call him Six Lack as a joke. I think he hates it, but it's fine. They know who we're talking about.
Gotcha.
Let me put you on game.
Yeah, so let's move into our last topic of the day. Let's talk about Isaiah Rashad. Just dropped his new album, The House is Burning. For you guys that are unfamiliar with Isaiah, he is a rapper signed to the Top Dog Entertainment label, who is a home of some artists that you may be familiar with, like Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, SZA, J Rock. And this is his first album in 5 years. His last album came out in 2016, The Sun's Tirade. And this new album has tons of feature, tons of vibes, however you want to put it. How are you feeling about the album itself? What are your overall thoughts?
I thought that the album overall was brilliant, and it exemplified to me the difference between a rapper and an artist. He painted a vague but accurate picture of his mind and where it's been over the last few years. And to me, it was really entertaining and engaging with the R&B vibe and really great flows. I saw the difference between his skill set and other rappers' skill set, where he was effectively blending verse to chorus in a very seamless manner and just using incredible production to its fullest. He took the production and transformed the song into something that is uniquely him. And quality wise, it comes off effortless, but I can tell how much effort was put into it, especially with some of the songs that are on this album. Him probably have finished it like years ago.
Yeah, he didn't miss at all on the album for me. It's one of my favorite albums of the year, like easily. I haven't been able to stop like playing it. Like I'm sure my wife is annoyed I'm out here just walking around. If I wasn't rapping, baby, like constantly. So yeah, it's great, man. That's just my overall thoughts. But to get deeper into it, I think that his musicality on the album is immaculate. Like the way that he uses his voice as an instrument, like you were alluding to earlier, where he almost just like melds into the beats, into the rhythms of the tracks. It's amazing. Like his
Yeah.
verses aren't necessary. He's not for everyone. I think the album has been getting mixed reviews. I'm not on the mixed side. Like I think it's great, but I don't think that he's for everyone. I think that sometimes like he's not always the most lyrically dense artist. Like sometimes he'll even like mumble through some of his verses. Like he can be hard to understand, but like the album is more about like a feeling for me.
Yeah.
Like it just feels great to listen to before you even understand what the songs are about. Like it feels good to listen to. I also love how southern it is. Like
Yeah.
there's multiple homages to really great southern hip hop artists. And for me, it shows that there's more to the South than just trap music. Because I
Right.
think that like if you were born, before the year 1998, like I'm sure that you know a lot more about Southern hip hop. But if you're someone who's like 18 years old and you're listening to this album, it might sound weird to you that it's a Southern artist that's not making music that sounds like a Future, or sounds like
Yeah.
Amigos, because it is kind of an album that pays a great respect to like the founders of Southern hip hop music. Like there's so many artists that he's very clearly influenced, like by UGK, Goody Mob, 3 6 Mafia. And he,
Yeah.
like he said, he turns all of those influences into his own style. Like there's no one, even though he sounds like other artists, there's no one that sounds like him,
Right.
which is a very unique accomplishment. And then he can also dip in the trap as well. Like I think he's a really unique artist, and it was really cool to see uh, how he turned those influences into something new and into something fresh.
Yeah. Getting into, I feel like this album deserves a song by song breakdown. So if you want to dive into the woods with me, we can go.
Oh, let's
How you
do it.
feeling?
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, so starting off with the intro track, Dark Side. Um, I was reading. I decided to go song by song through the lyrics, and Dark Side is one of the new gods of the DC universe, and he says, um, I just love some of the bars that he has in it, and he talks about praying to the new gods, forget the old gods, and so that's kind of an homage, and that I thought was kind of cool. And then I just love this bar. Barely toddlers got them purple hearts outside, and it showed you how dark the world that he is in, and just the different challenges and the sadness that he sees in people. A purple heart referring to the medal that wounded war veterans get. Yeah. And you're talking about like little babies out here, basically, young kids shooting and killing people for success and for the clout that they see around them.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really great intro. It really sets the tone for the album, and then it kind of leads into From the Garden, which is crazy that that's like the most hype track on the whole album, and it's the second one, and then it kind of never gets that hype again. It's pretty chill for the rest of the project.
Yeah,
I love the energy on that. I love the hooks on basically all of the songs. Like, he's got to be one of the better hook writers in rap.
Yeah.
Uzi's verse was great. The Seymour Feed Me Beats line was dope.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Young. I think that's one of my favorite songs on the album. It just goes. I love the Project Pat sample. The song itself just bumps, like it's been on repeat. It's a great track. How are you feeling certainly about some of the other tracks on the album?
Yeah, so Lay With You with Duke Deuce. Oh my goodness. Hollywood Cole, he produced an incredible beat. Shout outs to all the producers on this album. You got Hollywood Cole, you got Henry West, you got, what's the name of the other
Beats
kid?
Is on there.
Kenny Beats, Devin Malik,
Cal Banks
and
is on there too.
Cal Banks. Yo, okay, so Lay With You. That song was so much fun to listen to. It's not doing too much. It guides you along for the ride. And his vocals and the style that he created, it just showed so much versatility. Like the way he kind of like, he mumbles, but he mumbles in a way where it's actually clear and you understand what he's saying.
Yeah, and it's rhythmic too. Yeah.
It is. It's very rhythmic. It's very on point with the beat. You can tell that like he took time to really stitch the beats together. Claymore with Smino, oh my God. Like
yeah, Smino was gliding on that. That's one thing. The features on his album are so good.
It like I called it a botanical garden of music. It like you feel, but you contrast that with, it's almost like a garden that's on fire, but it's peaceful because of the name of the song. It's called Claymore, off an album called The House Burning. The House is Burning. And it just, it was so smooth, man. Like his verses, his R&B rhythm, and then you get into Smino with his excellent rap verse that he was basically singing to. And you can see the difference. Dope, you can see the difference. I don't like to down other artists, but an artist like Chris Brown, who is kind of singing and rapping, but this guy Smino is singing and rapping and creating a flow and an aesthetic that was perfect for that song. Same thing with a song like All Herb featuring Amindi, and the performance that she gave reminded me of the late 90s version of Erykah Badu. And that dynamic move between her and Zay in the song was fantastic to me.
Yeah. We got to talk about Headshots though.
Like,
we can't skip past that one. Headshots, that's the hook of the year, man. Like that for me, that's easy. That's the hook of the year. It's one of my favorite songs of the whole year. Like, it's just like, it just rides. Like this whole album, but that song in particular just rides. Like I just find myself like just singing it randomly all the time. Like, you caught me by surprise in my brand new whip. Like I just like, it's just like he took such a simple beat, but the hook that he did on that is just so infectious, and it's so like ear grabbing. And then actually like watching the video and seeing how the song itself, once you like dive into the lyrics, is actually about like his alcoholism, and then
Yeah.
how he equates like the circle of like the rim of a glass to the circle that makes up like an AA meeting, which is such a
Mm,
trippy, interesting way to think about like a circle, and to think about like someone actually doing headshots. And it's actually just like this whole allegory for him like repeating his life's mistakes over and over and over again. So
yeah.
that was great. Yeah, I just, it's just a jam, bro. Like he said in the beginning, it's just a jam. And you have True Story with, you know, J Rock, the consistent feature killer. I love the bass on that song. Like
Yeah.
it's great. It's great, bro.
Yeah. J Rock's his verse on that song was so good. So good. I
Yeah.
loved it. Devin Malik produced that, and you had Zay and Mindy again giving another great vocal performance. What you said with I Am Dochi and Cal Banks, bro, this song, like Zay, I feel bad because Zay had the worst performance on this song because I Am Dochi killed her verse, bro.
Yeah, it's
She
worse
took,
by association. Yeah, because she
yeah,
killed it. Yeah.
she killed it, bro. Like I was listening to, I was like, yo, she is nice. I want her album. You know, I hope she got a project because I want to hear what she got.
She really glided over the whole track. I definitely agree.
And then Cal Banks taking off the producer hat, stepping into the booth,
Stepping
and
into the
giving us
booth.
some, you know, and giving us some hook jams. That was dope too. I was impressed to see that. You know,
Yeah.
Don't Shoot reminded me, giving me some Brockhampton, Don't Shoot at the Party vibes. You know what I
Those songs
mean?
don't sound anything alike.
not not in terms of sound, but just in terms of like
The
the
content. I
P
got you.
yeah, the public service announcement that they're just trying to put out into the air, like, man, like this violence that the community is inflicting upon itself, it has to stop at some point, you know.
Yeah.
Um
Like chill, basically.
yeah, essentially. And I'll just also get into Chad with featuring YG Tut, you know, the using the lyrics from Pimp C, YG Tut with a great verse, seamless transition from verse to chorus to bridge. Another excellently crafted song, doesn't overstay its welcome. This
I love
album is
the
full of those
guitar on
type
that
of
too.
tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The guitar in the background, and then like I'm gonna just be off key singing like all of these hooks, by the way. Like I just don't mind me, but like the way that he like he turns like the, of course the way that he turns the Pimp C verse from Big Pimpin' into like a hook, and then the way it's like um that little that he puts like
yeah,
on the track is just like, everyone else would have just left it, but like because it's Isaiah Rashad, like he finds a way to just put like little, I don't even know if you want to call them like interpolations in, like where it just like it adds that much more to the song, because the song is like 100 times better just because of that like little detail. And then
yeah,
of course you got like the title track, The House is Burning. Like I love that he turned a song about from a Goody Mob, I think it's Cell Therapy, about killing someone that creeps up on you, and he turned that into like paranoia about like who is that like creeping in my window. So I thought that was a really dope flip of a classic Southern hip hop song, which is like that's what a lot of this album is, which is what I was saying about earlier about just loving the homages here. And I love that, you know, his flow was kind of like his flow in the second half of the song was kind of a subtle homage to Missy Elliott.
yeah.
Yeah, and most people don't think about Missy Elliott as like a Southern MC, but she's from Virginia. So it's like, you know, he's taking
Mm.
all of these people that are basically gods of Southern hip hop and like flipping their sounds into his own.
And one more thing on the House is Burning track, it was really interesting because he is essentially telling you where his mind is in terms of his anxiety. And then you juxtapose that to the very end of the song where he opens the door, you hear the chiming bells, and you hear how peaceful it is outside. So it's
Mm.
like there's somebody knocking at his window. Is that somebody that's going to hurt me? And you open the door and it's okay, which is
Yeah, it's
really
nothing. Yeah.
it's he's giving you a lot of subtle hints as to where his mind is and how he's developing through this process. And then you think about the house is burning. You open up the door and it's just peaceful outside. Like just all of that can contextually and conceptually really resonated with me, and I thought it added a nice element. And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Score with SZA and Six Lack, and just
Six.
I was I wasn't quite sure how to pronounce that.
It's supposed to be black, but people call him Six Lack as a joke. I think he hates it, but it's fine. They know who we're talking about.
Got you. A very polished song, almost a little business as usual, but at the same time, where in a different artist, this might be their featured track of the album. This is just something that he put on the back burner because it's not and I'm glad it's not the focal point of the album. It's a good song, but it's not as dynamic as some of the other songs and performances that he has earlier.
Yeah, it kind of winds the album down, especially after 9-3 Freestyle, which I like a lot as well. But yeah, and then you got Happy Birthday to You, which is a great closer, a unique, like off-putting kind of second half, but in a good way. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I think the album is great. Like I don't personally see the mixed reviews or why people don't like it, but I guess I could understand that he's not necessarily for everyone. But for me, this is one of my favorite albums of the year. We're going to be doing our top 10 albums of 2021 at some point at the end of the year, and I would surprise myself if it wasn't on mine. So yeah, really, really great project, and I hope there's not 5 years between this one and the next one, because I need more Isaiah Rashad. Let's get into is there anything else you wanted to say about the album?
Yeah, just the last thing, just his progression from the Sun's Tirade to this album, I really appreciated. And you put me on to Isaiah Rashad 5 years ago or so when you made your end of the year playlist, and you had songs like Double A on it that really introduced me to his style of music. And I felt that same style and aesthetic, but just even more of it on this album. And I just can't wait to see what he does next. You know, I hope he's featured on a Kendrick album. I hope he's on a Schoolboy Q album or J-Rock album, and just we get more of his song making ability. And I hope he like does some ghostwriting, because I want to hear more of his hooks with somebody else's voice. You know, I think about the R&B vibe that he tries to create, and I compare that with a guy like Drake, who has the platform but isn't as artistic with it as a Isaiah Rashad is. And I would love to see some blending of those two type of styles to create something that's really transformative.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're definitely anticipating the next album. I don't know. It was the Sun's Tirade, the house is burning. So I don't know. Maybe the next album's like Ash to Ash or something. I don't know. Keep the theme running, whatever it is.
Yeah.
What are your 4 favorite tracks?
All right, so we're gonna do 4. I had a feeling it's gonna happen. 16 tracks, 4 songs, but let's do it. You got to give me From the Garden featuring Lil Uzi, Lay With You featuring Duke Deuce, Claymore with TrigNO, and for this last song, it's tough, but I gotta say True Story with J-Rock and Jay Worthy. How about you?
Let me get Chad. Just if I wasn't rapping, baby, I would still be rapping Mercedes. It's just such a good hook. The way he transformed that. Headshots, of course, like I said, that's one of my favorite songs of the whole year. So it's definitely one of my favorite songs on the album. Let me get R.I.P. Young, and give me What You Said. I'll take that one too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can't argue, because those are some of my secondary favorites. I
literally loved every song that you said, so it's fine. It's all like I literally could list like the whole 16 songs. It's that good to me. I really love the project. But that'll do it for our review this week. If Donda ever drops, we'll probably review that. But
Might have to do an emergency episode for that.
yeah. But